This is a review for the OTTO electric pressure cooker model PC-225 that is available here in Thailand. I bought it on Lazada.com for 980 baht, which is the equivalent of about 30 US dollars. The way I came about to buy this is that my crock pot broke, and I thought, well, with the Instant Pot being so popular in the United States, perhaps there's an Instant Pot type product available here in Thailand that I could buy, cheaper. Well, I went online onto Lazada and saw a lot of electronic pressure cookers, including the Instant Pot. And other than the Instant Pot, which was priced probably twice of what you'd pay in the US, the rest of them were Chinese made, which I don't have a problem with, except that all of the controls and buttons and everything was in Chinese. And so I thought, that means the instruction manual is probably also in Chinese, and I could probably never figure out how to use it. So I happened upon this one made by OTTO, and I'm calling it the Poor Cook's Instant Pot because it has all of the basic structure of an Instant Pot. Now, I do not own an Instant Pot, so I'm just putting this together from what I've seen online. You have the machine itself, which has the heating element that cooks. Then this is a Teflon lined cooking container. Some of the nicer ones in the States also are stainless steel. This one's not. And then you've got the lid, which locks onto the pot, which is hard for me to do one-handed here. There we go. Okay, it locks onto the pot and creates a seal, and then you have this pressure release valve that needs to be in the down position during cooking. What makes this different from an Instant Pot is that an Instant Pot is electronic, which means it has all kinds of buttons and manual settings and electronic timers and a saute function and all these things. This is just your basic standard wind up timer. So basically all of the fancy cooking timing is up to you. So what I've discovered is that this actually works very well as an electric pressure cooker, but you just need to set the time probably for more than what your cooking time needs to be, and then use an outside timer like your phone or whatever. The manual comes in Thai and in English. That being said, it leaves a lot to be desired in terms of how much it explains things. So the rest of my education on how to use an electric pressure cooker have come from the internet. And so I've done some experimentation, and I just have to say it's going really well. I made pasta in here. I've made chickpeas for hummus that normally I would use in my crock pot, 7-8 hours to cook, and they were done in, 25 minutes. And then I did a pulled pork barbecue, and so after I'm finished with this little speech, I'll go into the process of how I made my pulled pork barbecue, and I just recommend this. I think this is a great kitchen tool, and I'm super excited to be doing a lot of cooking in it. Available at Lazada.com for about 30 US dollars. Lazada, I ordered it on a Saturday, ordered it cash on delivery, and it came to my house Monday after a phone call in English telling me it was on its way, and I gave the driver cash, and he handed me the box. So that was very, very good service. So today in my OTTO electric pressure cooker, I'm going to make pulled pork barbecue. You'll see that as of right now, the pot is unplugged, and I'm going to use the same recipe that I generally use to make crock pot pulled pork. So I've got some sliced onions, a can of ginger ale, and this is 1.5 kilos of pork shoulder, which is, a little over 3 pounds. I start by opening my pot, which I may not be able to do one-handed. Here's the inside of my pot, and I'm going to put in these onions and spread them out on the bottom of the pan, and then I will add I've cut my pork into 2 pieces, and I've cut a couple of pieces that are mostly fat, and I've stuck them right down in there on top of the onions, and I'm going to add the rest of the pork on top now. The pork shoulder is now in there, and I'm going to pour this entire can of Schweppes ginger ale over the pork. And I'm going to put the lid on. It's a two-handed operation. So I've slid the lid into the proper place, and this little pin is pushed in, which means that the lid is locked. And now I'm going to adjust the little valve to be closed so that the pressure will build up inside the pot. Now I'm going to plug the pot in. It's a 220. And now you'll see that it already says that it's heating. And so this is the manual timer. So the instructions say to cook this for 75 minutes. So because my timer tends to run a little fast, I'm going to set it more than 75 minutes and then also set the timer on my watch, and then I can force this to stop when 75 minutes is over. So at this point, over the next few minutes, I'll start to feel the lid getting hot, which indicates that the pressure is building up inside. If I've got this set properly on the top, which I think I do, then I should have no steam or anything coming out. It's going to literally be pressure cooking for the next 75 minutes. So it's been going for about 5 minutes now, and I can feel the pot is heating up. The lid is now hot. I can hear boiling noises in there, so I think it's working. So it's been going now for, what, 30 minutes or so, and one of the things it does, you see it just switched from warm to heating. It monitors the temperature inside the pot, and if it's getting too hot, it turns the heating element off for a time, and then you get that warm light to come on, and then it goes back to heating. And it'll just kind of keep doing that to make sure that it doesn't get too hot. So a few minutes ago, my timer said that my 75 minutes was up. So I came over here and literally turned this all the way to the off position to force it to stop. And so it went from going back and forth between the heating and the warm settings to insulation. And I'm hoping that it will just naturally release pressure over the next 15 to 20 minutes. And then we'll see where we're at. Okay, so I've let this sit for about 20 minutes, and I don't know how much of the pressure has been released. Like, I'm really not sure how well this works for a natural pressure release, so I'm gonna just knock on this little thing a little bit, and that's my husband making noise next to me, and see what happens. All right, I would say that most of the pressure is gone, so that definitely did what we were hoping it would do. Almost no pressure is coming out now. So let it go all the way till it stops. And there's definitely some steam coming out. You probably can't see that. Okay, so I have released all the steam, all the pressure, so now I'm going to unhook it from its spot and open it away from me because it'll be steamy. And inside we have cooked pork, and I will shred it and put it back in, or put it in something to put the barbecue sauce in. So I think we're gonna be good. So I'm happy to report that the pulled pork is super tender, falling apart. I'm about to do all of the pulling, add the barbecue sauce, and get it ready for serving. So after I got the meat out of the cooker and pulled it over here and pulled it, then I put it back in the cooker with some really yummy barbecue sauce and a little bit of the cooking liquid that was left. And I put the lid back on and sealed it up, which I can't do one-handed, and then set the timer. My goal was to turn it on for just 3 minutes or so, just so it would boil again. And one thing I'm learning is that you really need to turn the dial all the way to like 15 minutes, otherwise it won't operate correctly. So turn it all the way up to 15 minutes and just set a timer. So after it had gone for about 3 minutes, you could feel it and hear it. you know, boiling inside. Then I stopped it. They didn't even have any pressure to release at that point. And when I took the lid off, it was bubbling and hot, and it is absolutely delicious pulled pork barbecue. So I would say my poor woman's Instant Pot is working pretty well for the equivalent of about $30. Pretty happy.